Here's a clip of Bibi Netanyahu speaking to the UN. It's an old clip. Let's see what he has to say.
In 1984, when I was appointed Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, I visited the great rabbi of Lubavitch. He said to me, and ladies and gentlemen, I don't want any of you to be offended, because from personal experience of serving here, I know there are many honorable men and women, many capable and decent people serving their nations here. But here's what the Rebbe said to me. He said to me, "You'll be serving in a house of many lies." And then he said, "Remember that even in the darkest place, the light of a single candle can be seen far and wide." Today I hope that the light of truth will shine, if only for a few minutes, in a hall that for too long has been a place of darkness for my country. So as Israel's Prime Minister, I didn't come here to win applause. I came here to speak the truth. The truth is, that Israel wants peace.
Oh boy, where to even begin? Where do you begin? First of all, I mean, maybe there are, I'm sure there are some good people, some honorable people, and possibly many capable people who are involved in the UN, and maybe there are many genuinely good people, maybe even most. I don't know. I have a hard time convincing me, maybe, but let's say most of the people involved in the UN even are good, honorable people who are genuinely interested in pursuing the truth and pursuing the well-being of the community of nations around the world, which is what the idea of the UN is supposed to be, United Nations. But the community as the institution of the UN as an institution as a whole, is so profoundly morally bankrupt, and that's really the right way of describing it. Morally bankrupt. It's beyond a joke. I mean, it's beyond pathetic and absurd. I want to just list a couple of statistics just for context. Right, this is the UN Human Rights Council. This is the United Nations Council that's supposed to be pursuing and promoting human rights around the world. Between 2006 and the present, from 2006 until now, the Human Rights Council in the UN has formally made 108 resolutions condemning Israel. That's more than 6 times as many as they've had against North Korea. Let's even say that Israel does lots of bad things and etc., etc. And the claim of apartheid is a joke in and of itself, a complete and total joke. But let's say it wasn't. Is there any world in which anybody who is arguing in good faith could suggest that Israel is guilty of more than 600% the human rights violations that North Korea is guilty of? In that time, from 2006 until the present, the Human Rights Council has 108 resolutions against Israel and 109 against the rest of the world combined. So that means that Israel has, over the last 18 years, according to the UN Human Rights Council, violated human rights the same amount as all the rest of the world combined. China, Russia, Venezuela, North Korea, you name it. I mean, it's so absurd. It's a joke. The General Assembly, between 2015 and the present, that's, let's say, 9 years, more or less, give or take, has 156 resolutions against Israel, 8 against Iran, 9 against North Korea. So Israel has almost 10 times as many resolutions against it as Iran and North Korea combined. Just North Korea. So according to the General Assembly, Israel has almost 20 times as many resolutions against it as North Korea. Please explain? Even if all the things that they say about Israel are true, Israel violates human rights, etc., 20 times as much as North Korea? The whole world, the whole rest of the world, other than Israel, in that time, in the last 9 odd years, from the General Assembly, has 70 resolutions. So according to the General Assembly, Israel is guilty of more than twice as much, let's say, condemnable activity as the whole rest of the world combined. And tell me that the UN is not a joke. House of Lies is an understatement. Oh, get this. One more. China. You know how many resolutions there are against China in the last 9 years in the General Assembly and the last 18 years in the Human Rights Council? Combined, 0. And that's after the UN found that China had 1 million odd Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps and very likely forcibly sterilizing women, doing God knows what to all of them, to everybody. Over 1 million people in concentration camps. And this was found by the UN. Yet the UN hasn't found the motivation or interest or need for one single resolution against China in the General Assembly or the Human Rights Council. 0. But between the General Assembly and the Human Rights Council combined, we're talking 264. 264 resolutions against Israel, 0 against China. To call the UN a house of lies is I mean, it's the understatement of a lifetime. The entire United Nations is one big, pathetic, corrupt trash heap. And that's about that, as far as the UN is concerned. The second point in the video is, never underestimate the value and the power of being a source of light in a place that is dark. Right? You can walk into a room that's pitch black and can strike one match. Now, one match isn't necessarily going to make the entire room completely bright, but it will make the difference between being pitch black and being able to make your way around. And being a source of light, and then a person also perhaps can be a source of light that's greater than the equivalent of just a match or just a little candle. We can't sweep darkness out of the room, but we can be a source of light. And don't ever underestimate the value of a little bit of light and how far that can go in a place that's full of darkness.